Former President Trump has proposed a 200% tariff on John Deere tractors if they're made in Mexico. Are you concerned that some of these tariff proposals by the GOP nominee could drive up costs for consumers or hurt bourbon exporters in Kentucky, for example?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of tariffs. They raise the prices for American consumers. I'm more of a free trade kind of Republican that remembers how many jobs are created by the exports that we engage in. So I'm not a tariff fan.
In news that will surprise no one, top Republican Mitch McConnell doesn't really like Trump. It's somewhat of an inconsequential revelation because he's still going to vote for Trump. He's still going to encourage others to vote for Trump, but he doesn't seem to like him very much. Well, it goes a bit beyond not liking him. You can not like someone personally, but still acknowledge that they're good at their job or that they would be a good person to have in a leadership role. But judging from McConnell's very specific comments about Trump, I cannot imagine how or why he would think that Trump is fit for the presidency. I mean, the answer is that they just want a Republican pawn in the Oval Office, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself.
Do you have any reaction to what former President Trump said about your wife over the weekend?
No.
In a new biography written by the Associated Press's deputy Washington bureau chief, McConnell has referred to Trump as a despicable human being and a narcissist and stupid and ill-tempered. These comments were allegedly made back in late 2020 while Trump was still president, just weeks before the January 6th riot at the Capitol. McConnell also blamed Trump for the riot in private multiple times, according to the book's revelations, but McConnell still publicly supported Trump's third presidential nomination for the 2024 election.
President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of the day. President Trump is still liable for everything he did while he was in office as an ordinary citizen. Unless the statute of limitations is run, still liable for everything he did while he was in office. Didn't get away with anything yet. We have a criminal justice system in this country. We have civil litigation. And former presidents are not immune from being accountable by either one.
But during the time that McConnell made these comments, the Trump campaign had lost the 2020 election and was reluctant, to put it lightly, to accept defeat. McConnell, however, has publicly acknowledged, in opposition to the rest of his party, that Biden had rightly won the election. He said, while many millions of us had hoped the presidential election would yield a different result, the results of the election were clear and the Electoral Congress has spoken. And on January 6, 2021, the same day as the riot, McConnell stated on the Senate floor that there was no fraud in the 2020 election, at least not anywhere near the massive scale that would have tipped this entire election. He added, if this election were overturned by mere allegations from the losing side, our democracy would enter a death spiral. We'd never see the whole nation accept an election again. Regarding the possibility of no longer having to deal with Trump as a politician, McConnell allegedly said privately, it's not just the Democrats who are counting the days until Trump left office. McConnell appeared hopeful that the American public had had enough of the misrepresentations, the outright lies almost on a daily basis, and they fired him. Then McConnell seemed to acknowledge how dangerous an unchecked Trump could become, saying, for a narcissist like him, that's been really hard to take. And so his behavior since the election has been even worse by far than it was before, because he has no filter now at all. I also mentioned that McConnell had called Trump a despicable human being. That apparently happened when Trump blocked a bipartisan spending package in the middle of the pandemic. McConnell said that Trump is sitting on this package of relief that the American people desperately need. But arguably, the best part of this story is that when McConnell was asked about these comments, he sort of acknowledged that yes, he may have said them, but it's no worse than what other Republicans have already said. His office issued a statement saying, whatever I may have said about President Trump pales in comparison to what J.D. Vance, Lindsey Graham, and others have said about him, but we are all on the same team now.
My party does really good with white people, and I'm Proud of that.
And that's it right there. They're all on Team Trump because if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. The GOP has always been great at falling in line and staying on message no matter how insane the message is. They play the long game. Maybe that's why they have the oldest people still serving in government and running things behind the scenes. It doesn't matter if Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham or Melania Trump or JD Vance think Trump is a horrible and dangerous person or a threat to democracy. It doesn't matter because even with their own personal reservations and their own acknowledgments, they still continue to support his candidacy. He's still the one on the ticket, and at least in part, he's there because people like Mitch McConnell let him be there. At this point, it doesn't matter who's on the ticket, they just want a Republican president. Trump is perceived to have populist appeal, and establishment Republicans think for some reason that the third time's a charm. Trump has never won a popular vote, but they think that he'll eke out a win this time. Perhaps they're hoping for something similar to what happened in 2016, where they can just game the Electoral College to their advantage. Trump won that election fair and square. Nobody is arguing that, but let's be real. He did so without majority public support. And as Trump continues to devolve in front of everyone, Republicans will never even acknowledge that he's an embarrassment to their party. Maybe once he's finally out of public political life, some cowards will come out and say, I always knew he was bad news, and they'll try to sell a book. And when that happens, just don't buy the books. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you.